What's good, y'all? You back here again. At literally, we're finally here. The finale of 2019, the end of a decade. I say, good riddance, thank Jesus. Not that it was all bad. There was some great memories, some great moments, but that was showing off some hardships for a lot of folks. But I don't know, man. I don't know about y'all, but it seems like the winds of change. And the winds of change, I mean, this, I remember so much from the last decade. But there was so much. It felt like this decade happened so long. And it's not because I got older. Like in my own life, especially like the first half of the decade. A lot of stuff has popped off in the second half. Made a big move in my life and whatnot. But so much happened in the first half. I think of Occupy. I think of a lot of stuff that popped off. And then things just like got into this uneasy transitional period for about the last 5 years, 4 to 5 years. So it's been crazy. A lot of stuff has happened, but it's like mellower if you will. Not saying stuff didn't pop off, but it like the beginning of the decade was crazy. If y'all remember the beginning of the decade, it was crazy. It was crazy. Um, but yeah, things kind of went how I expected. Kind of went in parallel to the '60s with less like assassinations and tragedies, fortunately. But yeah, a lot of things have happened in this decade, and I was like, man, you know what? Because I saw Joey Boy. It was interesting because he's doing a theory video, kind of what in my mind. But regardless of that, if you're seeing this video a lot later, cool, cool. You see the title. Um, I don't know exactly how I'll title this until I title it, but best, winningest, greatest, most skilled. A lot of these terms and definitions are conflated. They're all put together, and it's a really bad way of doing things. Like when I talk with people, some people will think of, and they're so inconsistent. This is why this is a problem. There was a book back when I was in college. It was my intro to philosophy class. I absolutely loved it. It was Does the Sinner Hold, the fourth edition. Now you'll hear me talk in a lot of kinds of ways, and if you watch this video, this will be kind of a little crash course into part of the way that I think. I think very holistically. And when I determine whether something is legitimate or not, does the center hold? And that means does it have a ground point? Is this argument that you're making solid? Or does it clearly have holes in it? Is the foundation shaky as hell? Is there no foundation? Or is it like you're only taking one piece of evidence and ignoring the vast field of evidence? Okay. Are you picking and choosing, cherry picking your evidence and ignoring all the slew of counter arguments? Right? It's like when people argue about Tom Brady being no, Tom Brady may be the winningest. Do I consider him greatest? No, because why? I'll get into greatest of all time. The greatest. What does that really mean? What does it mean to be the winningest? What does it mean to be most skilled, most talented? And greatest, I would argue, has all of these aspects a part of it, but it doesn't mean that you're necessarily the best in all of these. All right, so I think I'll break it down in this video, and we can go other videos in the future if you want me to talk about some of these other stuff. But greatest, winningest, best, most skilled, and most talented. They are not all the same. For example, right now in the NBA, who I would consider the greatest player, LeBron James. Is LeBron James the best player? That's the subject of debate. You got the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo. You got James Harden. You got Kawhi. Some argue KD and whatnot. I would understand if somebody said KD's the best. I would understand that. Giannis, I'm still shaking on. Winning this right now. LeBron James track record, but right now Giannis is winning a lot. Okay. When it comes to most skilled, you could argue James Harden. Defensively, some people say, well, what about AD and Greek Freak? Okay, you can argue that, but James Harden has almost the entire skill set. He's improving on his defense as well. And the most talented, though. See, that's where, it's just off the charts. And the problem is when you're talking about these subjects, and I'll break down each definition of what I mean by them. But what happens is for some people, when they say the greatest, they only are focusing on, oh, this player should be, oh my gosh, he's phenomenal. but they're only looking at the raw talent. They don't look at the other disciplines. Some people favor the most skilled. Oh, he has so much skill, but don't realize that that person can be highly skilled in Obi-Wan Kenobi. But Anakin Skywalker had a hell of a lot more talent. Yoda had a hell of a lot more talent. Mace Windu had a hell of a lot more talent. You see what I'm saying? Um, when you think of the best, some people, who's the best fighter. That doesn't mean that that fighter's the most accomplished. That doesn't mean that that fighter's even the most talented. But just overall well-rounded, who's got the best game or skill set? Who's got the best toolbox? Who's I shouldn't say best toolbox. Who's got all the tools? Okay? Who's the most versatile? Is another way you can say who's the best. But then again, versatility is only part of being the best. It's one of those dichotomies. You can be this is a part of, but it's not inherently the thing itself. Versatility is its own thing, but versatility, for lack of a better word, is connected with the best. When it comes to winningest, who's the most accomplished? And when it comes to the greatest, who's iconic? So, terms. Most talented. Some could argue somebody like Wilt Chamberlain, if you're talking basketball, is the most talented to ever do it. Some argue Jordan. Some argue LeBron. Some argue, but I wouldn't argue LeBron. I don't know. I don't know if I argue Jordan either. People like the Admiral David Robinson. Some people argue maybe Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. Some people may argue a Magic Johnson. I don't know. It depends on where you're evaluating raw talent. For example, Shaq's raw talent was immense. Okay? That means you're just blessed with God given. You can say, well, wait a second. What about LeBron? LeBron fits better in another category. He's got a hell of a lot of raw talent. Don't get it twisted. But there are some key deficiencies in his game, which there were some key deficiencies in everybody's game. So even Shaq, I wouldn't necessarily say Shaq was the most talented. Even though some say, well, Shaq was so that yes, he was dominant. That doesn't make you the most talented. You know, uh, you know, talent is just what you're naturally blessed with, and just it's obvious to anyone who's ever played any sport or in any game. Some people just get like they just pick it up. They can pick up a guitar and they just shred, and you're like, I'm not on that like my threshold's way lower than his or hers is. The drummer, and you're like, I'm not there. I don't think my best day might reach there, but that person's threshold is way the hell higher. So when it comes to talent is just natural God-given abilities that you can't. That I don't care how much hard work you just bless with it. You just have to have it in order to reach the highest of highs. Okay. Some may argue with me, and that's debatable, but talent's usually less debatable than some of these other areas. Now, most skilled. These are the technical aspects of something. This means that, so let's say someone is super talented and someone is super skilled. I'm taking the super skilled guy. Because unless the talent guy has put in the work and understands the discipline of it, the skilled guy is going to win 9 out of 10 times. And that's not an exaggeration. The skill guy will beat you. Not there will be some times when you get caught slipping because the guy's too talented. Of course, I'm talking about someone out of a high pedigree of skill, not someone who's just mildly skilled. No. High level skill. James Harden's a great example. James Harden has talent, obviously, but his skill level is stupid. It's stupid. Some nights he's off. We're all off. Yeah, it happens. But he's stupidly talented. All right. So there was that. Now, some people combine it. Usain Bolt and Michael Phelps. They were both. Okay? Extremely naturally God-given talent, and their skill level was top tier. So they're damn near unbeatable. That's just what happens. Okay? Muhammad Ali was both. Okay? And amongst other things as to why I have him as the greatest. Now, when it comes to the best means when you look at all aspects of the game, of the field of what you do. Let's say you're working at, let's say with computers. I won't even just say IT, computers. You are a jack of all trades. People say a Swiss Army knife. You can get it done in so many different types of ways. You know that there are some people who are specialists. They specialize, but they're so deficient in other areas. There's some people who are, kind of autistic when it comes to certain, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but they're savants. Excuse me, they're savants at what their field is. I think of a savant. Brooklyn, if you remember Beyblade and G Revolution, he was a savant. But when it came to facing Tyson and Kai, they were much more experienced. Kai especially had a boatload of experience. Kai was way more skillful. Tyson was a savant with a bunch of raw talent. Okay, and he was powerful as hell. But Kai could defeat him because of Kai. Now it took Kai everything he had. Tyson, the most well-rounded, was why Kai's the you. Who's the best between Kai and Tyson? Tyson, Kai is debatable, but definitely Tyson's the greatest. He's the greatest, and we'll get to that in a bit. But best, you have to have all the tools. You can't be great offense and then be trash defense. I don't consider, let's say it was a football team. If your offense is just blowing people out, well, what about the defense? Your defense is giving up. You see that in the Pac-12. Well, more so in the Big 12, really. Big 12 college football, where you got teams putting up a bunch of points, but they can't stop anybody, bro. And it hurts them every single year that they're in the college football playoffs. They get the brakes beat off them because you got to be able to stop somebody. You see what I'm saying? So you need everything. In order to be the best, you need the whole toolbox. Okay? Really a tool shed. Anything where you're more versatile, it allows for you to deal with more problems. Okay? It allows for your value to rise higher. When it comes to the winningest, the most accomplished, this is the simplest. And this is the problem I have with the Tom Brady argument for he's the GOAT. No, he's not. No, he's not. I almost don't care what anybody says. Yes, he's one of the greatest, but he's not the greatest quarterback. Definitely not the greatest football player of all time. He got carried to like 4 of the Super Bowls. His first 3 in our last Super Bowl, he got carried, fam. Some of the games he played the best, he lost. Okay? Plus, getting to the Super Bowl is a team accomplishment. I consider Aaron Rodgers a better quarterback than Tom Brady for a plethora of reasons. Also, and it's not to diminish Tom Brady, but it's a fact, he had considerably the GOAT coach, who I consider the greatest coach in football history, especially NFL level. Now, overall football, debatable. But on the NFL level, I got Bill Belichick. So you have one of the all-time greatest players and one of the all-time greatest coaches. You could say, well, what about Michael? Michael Jordan was different. Do not compare Tom Brady to Michael Jordan. No. Tom Brady is more like Bill Russell. But I still favor Bill Russell for a plethora of reasons over Tom Brady. Even though Bill Russell had teams. Tom Brady, there were years where Tom Brady got carried by his defense. Just facts. Okay? What I'm supposed to do with that? My man Aaron Rodgers over here was carrying teams in spite of defenses. What am I supposed to do with that? This year, they're kind of winning in spite of Tom Brady's mediocre play at times. What am I supposed to do with that? You can say, well, he's old, then he's still playing. He's still healthy, relatively. What am I supposed to do with that? So there is that. You can be the most accomplished and be the winningest. Bill Russell, winning is most accomplished doesn't necessarily mean he's the greatest player. Okay? I have him, number 5? But, I take that into consideration because I got to put respect. Tom Brady's a top 10 quarterback. I don't have him as the greatest. Hell, I don't even have Joe Montana as the greatest. But that's a whole nother subject for discussion and debate. Finally, the greatest of all time, GOAT. One of the things I think of icon. It's part of the reason I don't have Tom Brady is he's not the most iconic. He's just not. I don't care how much the mainstream media tries to force or push it. It's not Patriots hate. Has nothing to do with this. Something you had a Delphi jacket that has nothing to do with it. Again, I have him as a top 10 quarterback. But when you take iconic, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, elevated, Dr. J, Allen Iverson, LeBron James, all elevated basketball to a new level. Even though I don't have him super, super high, I got him like maybe in the 30s, him and KD. KD might be higher, but, still. Steph is like in the 30s, but Steph helped elevate the game of basketball. That notches you up. Even if you were here, that shoots you all the way up here. Okay? Greatest icon, Tupac Shakur. Pac is the greatest rapper of all time. I got Shady number 2. I got Jay-Z number 3. Some people have Jay above Shady, but either way, to me, those are the lock-in greatest. They elevated rap and hip-hop to stratosphere that no one else did. And yes, I respect Dr. Dre. I respect Cube, Ice Cube. I respect plenty of other cats, Snoop Dogg and whatever. And they may be amongst the top 10. You know, I got 50 as number 4. I got Weezy number 5. Regardless, to me, those three embody on so many levels in different ways rap and hip hop. When you think of names, those are the names. Okay? They did it, they all did it in different ways, but those embody what rap and hip hop on an iconic level. I don't care if you're the most skilled. I don't care if you're the most talented. I don't care if you're the winningest, the most accomplished. And I don't care if you're the best. If you're not an icon, you cannot be the greatest. It's impossible. That is the name that lasts throughout history. That's why I have LeBron, like MJ and LeBron right there. LeBron right there. LeBron can still eclipse MJ as the greatest. You know, Magic's number 3. Okay, I had Shaq number 4. But when you're in the greatest conversations, Muhammad Ali, I had him as the greatest of all time. I have Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. a very close second. I have Iron Mike Tyson a very close third. Okay, Rocky Marciano a very close 4th. Sugar Ray Robinson a very close 5th. Sugar Ray Leonard very close 6th. Your iconic impact. Now, being an icon, you need all these other elements. You need to be massively talented. You need to be the best at one point. You need to have extremely refined skill set, and you need to be a winner. Now, the thing about winning, okay, I think it's less on the totem pole than other people. You need to be able to win. But when I say winning, you need to have done some stuff. Allen Iverson, to me, he's the 6th greatest, and he was 5, but LeBron moved spots. The thing is, AI, you can say, where you see, where's the read? AI did first what no other man. He pretty single-handedly took a team to the finals. And he got a game on the Dynasty Lakers in 2001, in 01. Okay? That's huge to me. Plus all his other skill sets. Okay? Yes, he never won a ring, but look at the era he was in. Kobe, Shaq, Tim Duncan. Okay? Like stop and that. Don't say, and it's not like he was ever surrounded by the greatest teams. It's not like he was ever surrounded by the greatest players. Yes, he had Melo at one point. But that Nuggets team was always really good, but always got injured, and they just never were able to get it done. And it happens. Okay, it happens. But his impact on and off the court, I can't ignore that. Okay? And so I say all this to say, I didn't mean for this video to be as long as it is, but there was a lot to say. This is beginning of the discussion. People need to put things in proper context. Maybe some people have a different definition of greatest, but I find it hard pressed enough to say the most iconic. Okay? Is along with these other skill sets. If you're not the most iconic, how can you be the greatest? How? If we're dialing it back to, let's say, One Piece, Goldie Rogers, the greatest pirate, the Pirate King, the most iconic pirate, even above Whitebeard, Edward Newgate, Big Mim, Charlotte Linland, Rox D. Zebek. Rox, how is Rox the greatest when his fame is not known? One of the greats, but many don't know him. So how can he be the greatest? Maybe he was the most powerful of all time, possibly, but he can't be the greatest. Shanks, one of the most powerful, but he can't be the greatest. Roger's fame, his iconic image, is about everybody else in the pirate world. Maybe Luffy meets or surpasses that. Then Luffy's in contention or the greatest. Newgate is right up there with them. That's why people argue with Newgate potentially being the greatest. See what I'm saying? Unexpected warning, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts on this subject matter. And till next time, y'all have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Peace. Have a safe, happy New Year's. And hopefully 2020 blesses all of us.